Have you ever noticed that some of the biggest battles in life don't happen around you? They happen inside of you. Your heart, your mind, your peace, your emotions. Lately, I've been thinking about what it really means to guard your heart. Not build walls, not become cold, not shut people out, but protect the things God entrusted to you. Because if we're honest, a lot of us spend years giving people unrestricted access to places they were never supposed to occupy. We answer every call, attend every event, say yes to every request, carry everybody's problems, and then wonder why we're exhausted. And what's interesting is that exhaustion isn't always physical. Sometimes it's emotional. Sometimes it's mental. Sometimes your body is sitting on the couch, but your mind is carrying 10 different people and 20 different situations. You're thinking about what somebody said, what somebody didn't say, whether somebody is upset with you, whether you made the right decision, whether you're doing enough, whether you're enough. And before you know it, your peace is gone. Not because something happened to you, but because everything has been given access to you. One thing I've been learning is that guarding your heart sometimes looks a lot less spiritual than people expect. Sometimes it looks like saying no. Sometimes it looks like staying home. Sometimes it looks like not responding. Sometimes it looks like leaving environments that no longer bring peace, growth, or purpose. I think sometimes we assume that every opportunity is meant for us. Every invitation, every conversation, every request. But wisdom teaches us something different. Wisdom asks, does this align with where God has taken me? Does this support my peace? Does this add value to my life? Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. And just because someone wants access to you doesn't mean they're entitled to it. Whew, that one took me a long time to learn. As I've gotten older, I've realized something. Not every invitation deserves my presence. Not every conversation deserves my energy. Not every opinion deserves my attention. And that's okay. There was a time in my life when I thought I needed everyone to understand me, everyone to approve of me, everyone to agree with me, everyone to see my heart. But the older I get, the more I realize that's impossible. Some people will misunderstand you. Some people will disagree with you. Some people will create a version of you in their mind that has nothing to do with who you actually are. And if you spend your life trying to manage everyone's perception of you, you'll lose yourself in the process. For a long time, I struggled with guilt. Guilt for disappointing people. Guilt for setting boundaries. Guilt for choosing myself. Guilt for protecting my peace. But I've learned that someone else's disappointment doesn't automatically mean I've done something wrong. Let me say that again slowly. Someone else's disappointment doesn't automatically mean you've done something wrong. Because sometimes people are disappointed simply because you stopped abandoning yourself. Sometimes they're disappointed because you stopped overextending yourself. Sometimes they're disappointed because you stopped saying yes when you really meant no. And that's uncomfortable, especially if you're someone who genuinely cares about people, especially if you're someone who doesn't like hurting others, especially if you're someone who carries a lot of empathy. But caring about people and carrying people are two different things. You can love someone without carrying responsibilities that belong to them. You can support someone without sacrificing yourself. You can be compassionate without becoming responsible for everyone's happiness. Some people will make you feel guilty simply because you're no longer available in the way you used to be. That's not your burden to carry. Another part of guarding your heart is learning who you are. Not who people expect you to be. Not who social media says you should be. Not who your family says you should be. You. What do you actually enjoy? What brings you peace? What aligns with your values? Because when you know who you are, you stop chasing every trend and every expectation. You stop needing everybody's approval. You become comfortable being yourself. And honestly, that kind of freedom is priceless. I think one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves is permission to be ourselves. Not a polished version, not a performative version, not a version designed to make everybody comfortable. Just ourselves. Because when you finally know who you are, something beautiful happens. You stop comparing. You stop competing. You stop looking over your shoulder wondering if you're falling behind. You start living your own life instead of trying to live someone else's. But the biggest lesson I'm learning about guarding my heart is this. Some things belong in God's hands, not mine.
I can pray about it. I can learn from it. I can take responsibility for my part, but I cannot carry everything. And if I'm honest, that's probably one of the hardest lessons for me, because sometimes I want answers. I want clarity. I want certainty. I want to know how everything is going to work out. Anybody else? But faith doesn't always give us all the answers. Sometimes faith asks us to trust God before we understand. Sometimes faith asks us to release what we're still trying to control. There comes a point where I have to release it. The relationship, the misunderstanding, the future, the fear, the outcome. And trust God with what I cannot control. Because worrying about something doesn't give me power over it. It just steals today's peace. I think some of us have been carrying burdens for so long that we've forgotten what it feels like to put them down. We've gotten used to the stress, used to the anxiety, used to the overthinking, used to carrying the weight. But just because you become accustomed to carrying something doesn't mean God intended for you to keep carrying it. So lately, my prayer has been simple. God, help me protect what you've given me. My peace, my joy, my mind, my children, my purpose. Help me know when to speak. Help me know when to walk away. Help me know when to rest. And help me remember that not everything deserves access to my heart. Maybe that's your reminder today too. Protect your peace. Protect your energy. Protect your purpose. And most importantly, guard your heart, because everything else flows from it. And the healthier your heart becomes, the healthier your decisions become, the healthier your relationships become, the healthier your boundaries become, the healthier your life becomes. Guard your heart, not out of fear, not out of bitterness, not out of pride, but because it is one of the most valuable things God has entrusted to you, and it deserves to be protected. So guard your heart.
Take care of what God has placed in your hands and trust Him with the rest. Thank you for spending this time with me, and I'll see you in the next video.